right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the luxurious, prolific, fantastic BoomBastiCAST program. You got myself, Maddie, and you got my brother from a different mother, Alexander, doing it big.
Okay.
Handsome guy. That guy's so handsome, makes me feel bad about myself. That's how handsome that dude is.
What can I say? I make you weak in the knees.
All right, we got a real slobber knocker for you out there today. We got a really cool guest. I know this gentleman doesn't do a whole lot of guest appearances, even though he's the man. So we're very happy to be able to have him on the show from shows like Glee, Drake and Josh, The Wizards of Waverly Place. I just dropped some acid, so behave. Forgive me for my mind being blown apart. Tangerine. Um, Warren the Ape, dude, Starlet. The earlier films of Sean Baker, indie filmmaker extraordinaire. Just this dude's a really good dude. Did I even announce his name yet?
Not yet. Come on, dude. You got us waiting.
Josh Sussman is about to be in the building on the cast. Super good dude. It was a lot of fun sitting down with him and having a conversation. Like I said in the outro, you know, it's an interview, but it was like half interview, half conversation, maybe even 75% conversation, 25% interview, which is right about where we like it. You know what I mean? I think it's more important and more fun just to kind of chat it out and get an idea of these people instead of doing the old, here's the question, where's the answer? Here's the question, which you'll see on some type of subpar lower podcast. They'll just do the deal. Some lower podcasts, you might have somebody looking at their shoes saying, hey, when you did this thing, did it feel good? Yeah. The answer
What
is yeah, it felt good. It goes,
what did
yeah.
you do on
No, we're
February
talking about
8th?
performances. Don't get crazy. Don't get wild
What
over it.
we're doing on February 8th, 1982.
That's right. It was a good year. I have a champagne in my wine closet with that year on it. Might just drink it right after this for celebration. You know what I mean? It's a very pricey champagne. It's Cristal. It's the first
Ah,
of
Christelle.
yes, it was Cristal. It's very nice. I keep it chilled. But enough fun and games, you know what I mean? It was cool to have Josh on the show. Like I said, I haven't seen him do a whole lot of interviews, so which makes it even more special. I think to have him almost an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, almost an exclusive. Um, but yeah, very cool dude. Do you want to say anything before we pop into the episode?
Nothing much. Just that I'm glad that we got him on the show. And what I always love is, especially when we bring people on the show, like Matt said, where we kind of go, we want to know about the person themselves. We want to know about the likes, the dislikes, and the views on, art, on film, on writing, on books, on, anything and everything. And as you'll see in this, we end up talking a lot about just movies themselves. Where are they going? What can we expect? What we like, what we don't like. And the actors and the directors that inspire us, that we enjoy working with or talking with. I mean, it's a lot of fun when we get to kind of see what people we're fans of are a fan of themselves.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree wholeheartedly. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BoomBastiCast for the first time, the great Josh Sussman. Josh, welcome to the BoomBastiCast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. There's gonna be a lot of fun. You're a good guy.
Thank you.
The Alex found you out there waving around, brought you in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Good
he's
stuff.
on top of things.
Hey,
He's
hey, I try, I try. One
he's
of the things that I wanted to ask was, I was looking through the stuff you've done and all of that, and I was wondering, how did you first get into acting? I mean, did you always want to do this? I
Well,
mean,
it happened by accident of just wanting to have friends at my birthday party. So it started at my fifth
Yeah.
birthday party. My mom asked me who I wanted to invite, and I was naming different kids from my school. But then I mentioned I wanted to also invite Kermit and Fozzie and Gonzo, and I was naming all the Muppets. And my mom explained, "No, Josh, we can't invite the Muppets. They live in the TV." And it was at that moment, I was like, I need to figure out how to get into the TV. So it wasn't even that, oh, I'm passionate about acting. I didn't even know everything I saw on TV. I thought it was real. I used to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse every week. I thought it was live and that Pee-wee was doing the show live talking to me. I didn't know. So I guess with that interest in getting inside the TV, I took my first acting class at age 9. And I started doing a lot of plays and school theater back east. I'm from the East Coast as well in New Jersey. And then I went to a 2-year acting conservatory instead of traditional college. And then I just moved out to Hollywood with a suitcase and a dream, not knowing a single person. And I actually made it into the TV, which I wish, like, I could, my 5-year-old self, like, everyone was like, that, you can't go in the TV. That's impossible. And I haven't met the Muppets yet. I haven't worked with the Muppets. I met Muppeteers, but
Yeah.
I still have not got to see the Muppets.
Someday.
One day, yeah, but and now they're all the different performers, so the voices are a little different, and it's like, but no, it's still them. I have to accept, okay, that is still Kermit. If I meet Kermit, even though it's not, well, Jim Henson and then Steve Whitmire.
Yeah. I mean, one day it's just all going to be CGI Muppets, unfortunately.
Oh, the AI technology is terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a video even of me speaking different languages, and it was my voice perfectly. And it was my voice with my cadence, but it was stuff I never said. And so, yeah, it's gonna eliminate probably the voiceover world. And I work in that world, and it's eventually gonna eliminate probably ADR, which is, I don't know if as indie filmmakers, if that is like, okay, that's we don't have to pay the actors less, we could just have one less day, and a lot of it you could probably sneak and get away with.
Yeah,
That
yeah. Yeah, it's, we often talk to people about the whole AI takeover, and it's kind of people always even say as the filmmaker, like voiceover people definitely, but they even say even filmmakers are going to go to the wayside. They're like, there ain't going to be nothing but AI one day, which is sad. It's like you think it loses that human charm that why we love a lot of the TV and movies that we love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. I think it will always be around because I think, or I guess at least in the near future, even though the technology is amazing,
Yeah.
AI made projects I think will be terrible to a degree. And there's going to be like a new, like I heard Amazon is doing like a Netflix or something before where people could just type in their prompts. And I can't imagine, and I don't know how that's going to work with, like, you can make your own Star Wars film. I just, I don't know, without the heart, without it being organic, just like people want to go to Whole Foods and like, ooh, organic. Like, I think with movies, they're going to have labels not made with AI. And I say the Mummy. I don't know which Mummy that is, but I think there's something with like the Boris Karloff or all the 1930s
Yeah.
monster movies that are real as opposed to all this CG, that there is something that just feels more real. So I don't know. It's there, but I think people are going to eventually get wise to it.
Yeah.
And I think you need the creative, and they might get rid of actors first, because still think you need a creative mind or the creative writer. I mean, I've messed around with AI, and it's definitely mind blowing, but it is terrifying once they start putting that in robots. Like Terminator, I don't, it used to be a science fiction film when I grew up. That is so realistic. Skynet.
Sure.
Like that's what's stopping Skynet from coming, and so many people have their AI companions now that they tell them everything. I mean, they'll be able to blackmail us. It's
That's the thing, like that's a worrisome thing too, that of, it reminds me of that scene in Little Nicky when they take the footage from Scarface and they put Little Nicky's face over it. And
hmm
it's like, I mean, that could be kind of like, then it's like, what do you believe? You know what I mean? Is it something, it could be used against you in that situation, but it also could be a tool for like bad people to be like, well, I mean, look what we just did here. Like, that ain't me. You didn't catch me doing this. Look at I did this. I'm blowing
Yeah.
bubbles.
Well, I
Uh,
had to warn my parents that if they ever get a phone call that sounds like it's me and I'm telling them I'm kidnapped and they need to pay the ransom, I was like, And now I hope I don't actually get kidnapped. And my parents are like, no,
Yeah.
we know it's not. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they're the voice, and they take advantage of elderly people. Like it's with the scams and with the visual, like especially with people who've been videoed and photographed a lot. Like there's been some just stuff with even like Trump and Biden that during the elections where they're saying things they didn't say or did they say, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. And it's all
It's scary, dude. Like I mean, it's one of it's the whole conversation of like, is technology really good? You know, everybody, it's like it needs to slow down a little bit. It's going a little too fast right now into the future, you
I
know.
think of our lifetimes, there's nothing like it. It's the most advanced,
Oh yeah.
like more than even cell phones. Like it's the movie Her, which was
Yeah.
like 11 years ago. That's there. Like I don't know if you've like the AI that you could talk to that has just a human voice. It's
It
yeah.
something like that could be good for like people that need to like talk, like therapy type deal,
Oh
like
yeah, no, I know so many people who use ChatGPT as their therapist, and they say it's
uh,
better than, but it's going to also cut off human interaction. Like, no, I like my AI, I like my ChatGPT better than they give better advice than the
yeah.
friend. They're not telling me something I don't want to hear. They're telling me exactly what I want to hear. I remember Snapchat had like an AI friend, and I was talking to her, and I was like, this is going to be so bad for probably teens with depression because it's like their parents take away their phone, and it's someone who it's a friend who texts back right away. Like if I text someone and they didn't text back for half an hour or even 5 hours or a day, but the AI, they're more dependable, and it's just gonna people are gonna be more and more isolated. There's gonna be worse and worse social skills. I mean, young people already have terrible social skills today.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people talk about this if social media ever went down, because people have like that's more real than their real life to some people, you know what I mean? And they're just gonna be lost without it. Like with the pandemic, I remember like a lot of just troublesome stuff. Like when we're going through it, it was like you don't yeah, yeah, like there's certain elements of society that need that interaction. We all need interaction, but like one thing that I was like somebody said something about like people that go to AA and stuff like that, which I never even thought of. And it's like those people must have been so lost when they shut everything down. And it was like now they're
Oh,
stuck in a house by themselves. Boredom's the biggest killer of sobriety. You know what I mean? Like if you're bored, that's when you're trying to go find something to kind of entertain yourself. And it was like,
right.
man,
Well, that's I never I didn't, and I guess I hope this isn't insensitive. I all the people who said they were bored during like quarantine time and all that, I was like, there's never enough time to watch all the movies and TV show I want to watch. I was like, how could anyone be bored when there's endless movies to watch and series to binge? Like I didn't get like, but yeah, people would tell me, yeah, I'm getting cabin fever. I'm like, no, we could just watch movies all the time. Like this,
yeah.
it was an awesome time. I mean, except all the sickness and stuff. That part.
Yeah, it's because we're going I remember like the break was so welcomed because we were just doing so much stuff for so long because like in film and in independent film and any type of artistic format where you put product out, it's like you keep going because you don't want to step back, you just keep going and keep momentum, and then being forced to have to take a break was, I think, a good thing for a lot of people. Like the people getting sick and dying, awful, like terrible. You know what I mean? But like certain people that got the break in, I think that part was good for people. But
Hmm.
they shouldn't, it shouldn't take a pandemic for those people to find, time to like unwind and do the deal. It's kind of like I think it proves something to some of those people that go that breaks are needed and you need to regroup type deal.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know.
But uh, I can't imagine we'll ever have something like that again in our lifetime. That's what we say, but then it's full of surprises.
We
But I
hope not.
also would
Yeah.
go for that.
Now it's a fear thing. So like you always hear people going, "Oh, there's another one coming. There's another one coming." And it's like,
Oh, I hope not.
yeah, yeah. That was
I,
quite a time.
I know it changed the whole industry also. Like I used to go to auditions in person, I have not auditioned in except for commercials, but for film and TV, it's all like you have to make your own tape at home and just send it in. And I know maybe in some ways that's more convenient because you don't have to, be at a certain place at a certain time and drive through traffic, but you're not having the connection where they're not getting to meet you. You're not getting to have like feedback, and it's just a giant guess. And like I'm proud and happy to say the very last audition I had in person before everything shut down, I booked. So I would tell people if I never work again as an actor, like I was good this way, I was good.
Yeah, yeah.
When I got to meet them, you charm them in the room.
The in-person audition's always better from a filmmaking standpoint or filmmaker standpoint, I feel, because like that anxiety that you get when you go in the room and you're acting in front of people and you're performing and doing your thing, like when you do it on a videotape, it does kind of take away that anxiety, which is good for the performance, but then you got to know that they're able to do that in front of a big group of people, like when you're recording it, you know what I mean?
Totally. And you have the freedom to do it again and again and again, which could drive you crazy, where there's something nice about I'm as prepared as I'm going to be, and this is what it is. And they will know that because then you're dealing with then perfection and trying to and are you just wasting your time? Because so many times you hear when someone watches an audition, they'll know within 5 seconds. Or just so much of it's based on the look. Where if you have the right look, okay, I hope he could speak. Okay, I hope
Yeah.
you got to say the lines because we want that person. And you put so much effort into these self tapes, and sometimes it is a waste of. Well, I don't know if it's ever a waste of time, but like you don't even have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing auditions in person. I mean, I've done a bunch through video, and I have to admit, I haven't had much luck because I mean, you sit down, and a lot of times it breaks down to do you have the right lighting? Do you have the right makeup? I mean, are you dressed the right way instead of just being yourself? Because now, I mean, you're not just an actor, you're kind of a mini filmmaker yourself, trying to do this, audition to impress, of course, those that you're trying to audition for. And of course, they're not giving you anything back. So you could very possibly be the best person for the role, but if they don't give you any feedback of like, well, can you try it this way? Yeah,
That's the world now, so I have to be very careful that I don't want to really complain. I'm just kind of pointing it out now because then the last thing I want to be is like a bitter actor who's like, "Oh, I don't like it this way," and this is how it is, so I have to embrace it. But I remember my first Zoom audition, which was a callback, so that's different than a self-tape because it's like the way we're talking now. But like for me, you guys are in a different box, and as the actor, I'm having to a lot of it's listening. And I feel like my eye line, like if I'm looking at one of you, it might look at like I'm not. And then if there's lag with the Wi-Fi, and then I can't hear the person, so then I'm acting almost against a performance that's not there. And in one of the auditions, I felt like they probably think I'm a terrible actor. This was like one of my worst auditions. So I rather have a Zoom or a self-tape than the Zoom callback, just because. But I guess that's how it is. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's coming back because, like, especially in LA, people like casting offices and just real estate is probably so expensive. And they're just saving so much money and they're not having to hire like casting assistants and just even renting out space, keeping the lights on in
Yeah.
an office. So I fear it is not coming back.
yeah.
Uh, People are just used to it this way, and people it's efficient that they send here's the audition, here's the pages, and there are people who we're all of us actors. We're hungry. We do it. We get it in. We get it done. So why pay an extra like $5,000 a month renting studio space to have?
Yeah, I think it just made easier and cheaper, and right there alone is like, that's it right there. Like even if they feel meeting with the person is way better,
Hmm.
if it cuts that bottom line, like when it gets down to the budgetary stuff, like if they're saving money, I think they'll do, the Zoom. But so I agree with you 100%. I think that's kind of the future of auditions.
Well, yeah, and I've been fortunate that I have booked some things on tape, but then it's when you go to set. Usually, like when you go to set, like you've met the director or the producers, like at the audition, you know them, and now it's almost more like a first day of school. Like you don't know anyone or who they are because only saw you, but I never saw them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, because when the I've never been in an on I've done audition, but I've never been on like the acting side of it, and like that is where you kind of begin to grow a relationship. And with some directors, you get on set, you know, I've seen directors that don't give any direction. I've seen them very hands-on. So like depending on what they're doing that day when you show up on set, I assume you might not even get a chance to really even talk to the director. You know what I mean?
But yeah, and sometimes it's very quick. And it's like we love what you did in your audition. Just do that. Or they'll tell me, hey, we loved your tape. And it's I feel good about all the tapes I submit, but there's the ratio of booking compared to tapes. I don't know. So it's like, okay, I guess what was it about this one that they liked? But I don't know. It's like, okay, so it's not always a lot of direction, but they liked what I did in the tape, so let me just try to repeat that. But sometimes it's like, what if they like the tape and I could do something else? But no, TV moves so quick and it's
Uh,
mostly, but I don't know. It's a fun world. I love being on set. Being on set is like my favorite
oh yeah,
place to be.
it's
There's
a
just,
magic place.
oh, absolutely.
Fully creative, the element.
And
Um,
that show was taken away. Not to just be talking about COVID. There was a show I did during COVID called Mr. Mayor, which I don't think people watched, but it was with Ted Danson, created by
yeah,
TVA. And so it lasted 2 seasons. But during the first season, I felt like that required social distancing and all of the rules they had killed the on-set camaraderie, where usually you have a bunch of creative people and actors, you're in a room together,
yeah,
and it's just, laughs, laughs, jokes, jokes, fun, fun. But like things were so strict, and I was like, oh, like I'm having fun and I'm grateful to be here, but there's the camaraderie is missing.
yeah.
Because to stay open, they had to be very strict and follow very strict rules during that short period of time.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's not even the camaraderie, but it's like dealing with something like the pandemic. It's like people were afraid that other people would infect them with something. So it makes it even like harder. Like everybody's in their own world, and it's like they don't want to mesh. It's not like yeah, we're really not supposed to mesh, but it's like I don't even want to mesh because, God knows what's floating around,
Hmm. Who knows? Yeah.
So did you didn't get no good like hang time with Ted Danson, the Cheers man himself?
In the second season, it was a lot more relaxed.
Okay.
And it was really cool just being just in the room with him where we're in holding together waiting and he's just telling stories. And even when he's telling stories about Cheers. But the way when I met him, it was I'll tell you when I met him for the first time, and obviously I knew who he was because he's legendary Ted Danson.
Yeah.
And so because of all the strict rules, we're wearing like required to wear masks and a face shield. And so when he introduces himself, he said, "Hi, I'm Ted," even though I know who he is and I can recognize him through the mask, and I'm wearing the mask and I said, "Oh, I'm Josh," and then he, I guess, humbly says, "Oh, we'll never remember or know who each other are later." And I was like, I didn't know what to say because I'm like, even though you're Ted Danson, and also I have this big hair, I think we'll be able to spot each other.
Yeah.
And it just really threw me for a loop. Like usually I could be pretty quick, but I didn't know what to say to that. Like I didn't want to be like, I like want to make a big deal or fawn over him. Like, oh no, I'll know who you are. But it was, yeah, no, yeah, Sam Malone. He talked about getting even with Dad, and he told me that was, I believe, his most successful, or that was his biggest payday he's ever got because he had a Favored Nations with Macaulay Culkin, or because Macaulay Culkin was the huge star after the Home Alone movies that they had to have the same thing. So even though it was a movie that I don't think unfortunately did well, it's like, oh, you never know. If you have the right co-star and it's
Getting even with that. Man, now we're going back. We were talking about the VHS rental store a little while ago before we started up, and like, I definitely remember catching that at the rental spot.
Hmm. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
Mhm. What what are some of your biggest rentals that you, and it's crazy in a world now where I guess you buy so much, we buy everything. Like, but the
Yeah.
movies that I would rent again and again, and I wonder why didn't I just buy it or why
Because they were like 120 bucks a pop back then. You know what I mean? Those VHS.
it was
That's the
rare, yeah.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like when VHS first came in, like everybody here probably knows, it's like the reason why the rental store became the rental store is because these were like super expensive to get. Like if you were to get one movie, it'd be like I've got movies with like $89 price tags on them and stuff like that. Um, yeah, dude. But some of my favorite VHS rentals, like from a kid, dude, I remember every Friday, which I've been blessed because throughout my life, every Friday, like one of the rituals was like going to the VHS store and renting movies for the weekend type deal. And Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, like it just that and the Wizard of Oz back and forth, like boom,
Hmm.
boom, 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 boom. Um, and then I was big one. And then in the not like in the 90s, I was big on like 90s comedies and action movies were huge. I was a big horror fan, but I wasn't allowed to rent horror because I was the only one in the family that liked it. So like they're like, nah, dude, like just like wrestling VHS. I'd go stay with my nanu and would go rent wrestling VHS, but my immediate family was like, nah, we don't want to watch that. So we had the other stuff, yeah, but
Yeah, it's Last Action Hero was a movie as a kid that I loved so much, and there's so many movies that I loved, and then I find out, wait, people don't like that? People
yeah.
hate that? One of the ones that I do not get, and it's one of my favorite movies, is Hook.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and I don't understand how that had bad reviews, though people don't like it. Uh, I don't know what you think of Hook. I think it's amazing. It's one of
I
John
love it.
Williams' scores.
Spielberg produced that, I think,
He
too.
directed,
Like
Spielberg directed it.
he directed it? All right, I was gonna say, yeah, that was, and it failed, and it didn't do good. I'm surprised.
Well, I don't know, maybe financially or box office, I think it did all right. And I
Yeah.
know he's openly not happy about it.
Oh, really?
I guess it didn't turn out the way he wanted, but I mean, just Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So good. And Bob Hoskins as Smee.
I love it, dude. Yeah.
The best cast. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't know. One of the things I found out recently, actually, is that there's a scene where you have Tinkerbell taking Robin Williams, Peter Pan, and they're passing this bridge, and a little bit of Tinkerbell dust lands on a couple. And that was
Mhm.
actually George Lucas and Carrie Fisher
Yeah, that's
as
right.
as the couple as they start, flying up. So, that I always love like little inside things like that.
And they had
Yeah.
Glenn
And
Close as a
close
pirate.
in the
Yeah.
boombox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
classic.
Unrecognizable. The Back to the Future movies, the Indiana Jones movies, those got lots and lots of play. And but also unlike just like VHS is no longer around, like cable. I know cable still exists, but also I remember that just the accidental discovery of flipping channels, like, oh wait, Back to the Future is on. It's halfway in. I'll just, no
Yeah.
matter what I'm doing, I'm gonna stop and do that. But now I guess in a Netflix and a streaming world, that doesn't happen. And I just like even movies like Shawshank Redemption, I discovered because that was on TBS all the time. And
Yeah.
what's this? And I wonder, like for a movie to get discovered these days, or it's almost impossible. Like E.T. was in theaters for a year. Like now movies are in theaters for 3 weeks and then
If they're lucky.
if
Yeah.
they're lucky.
They get one with a lot of like our local theater. Like if you really want to see a movie that's not like a blockbuster, like a Superman or something like that, if it's got a little bit of artistic, to it, you better see that the first week because it's very possible it might not be there week two.
So how do those movies do over there? Like do the indies perform
They
well?
they it depends. Like if it's a good one, it might get 2 weeks. If it's not, it's gone pretty quick. I've seen movies leave with it before the week's up. Like I like there was like there was a really indie movie out this way that they because it was like a lower budget indie and like I think they had some money so what they did is they put it into the fit into showcase and it was
Mhm.
supposed to get a run. And the first screening, like nobody showed up for it, so they just like pulled the rest of it. Because no matter if you're a multi-billion-dollar
Mhm.
studio or you're like somebody just paying for your movies every check that you make, like you are those theaters, they're rentals. You know what I mean? It's not like they take them in for free and say, "Oh, we're gonna give you half the money" or whatever. It's all a rental deal, no matter what level you're at. So I think once they realize they're not gonna make what they want to make, they kind of pull it quick and try and recoup money.
But it is great though that Indy won Best Picture this year.
With
Yeah,
your
Oh,
boy
you
over
did
there,
research.
yeah.
Okay, yes.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You were in, I believe, Starlight and also Tangerine, right?
Tangerine, yeah.
Yes.
And
And
Warren.
Warren the Ape, which was my favorite thing I've done, and that people I was hoping after Anora won Best Picture, people would want to go look back at like Sean Baker's previous things, and he was a co-creator, writer, director of an MTV series, which was a spin-off of Greg the Bunny called Warren the Ape. And I wish it's on Amazon and iTunes, but it's not for free anywhere. I wish
Oh, okay.
people could see it, but it was such a good show, and that's where I met Sean. And yeah, no, I was so happy. Like I know someone who won 4 Oscars. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's very what a life. And that's not me, but it's just so exciting.
Oh yeah. To be close to something like that, and it's like, it's fun. We're indie filmmakers as well over here, but our budgets are definitely not the same. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely levels to it. You know what I mean? Like,
The
and we give much kudos to Sean Baker, you know what I mean, for achieving that. He's an indie dude that goes out there, he can get the budgets, to bring it in, and make it look nice so Hollywood can accept it type deal. There's definitely that thing to it. But it was definitely cool to see him win, being an indie dude like that. I always praise the indie people whenever even Tarantino, who's a dude that was very independent. Like right now, he's the biggest thing going for the most part. Like there's very few people bigger than the Tarantino name, but like he's a dude that came from nothing and just scraping some money together. He, stumbled into Harvey Keitel, and that really kind of helped him change his career with Reservoir Dogs and Lawrence Bender. But yeah, I always applaud the people, the indie folks, the strugglers. You know what I mean? That
they're real movie fans. Like Sean is a real movie nerd, and Tarantino, I go to like the specialty movies that play. There's the Eru and the Egyptian, which play a lot of classic films. And I went to a screening of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And oh, there, Quentin Tarantino, he's there. He's just a regular patron wanting to go see the movie projected in 35 millimeter. And it's like there's other times where I would just see him at the
yeah,
theater. I've even seen him at the diner just with Christoph Waltz. And this was right after Inglorious Bastards, and they were just talking about movies. And
yeah,
I love when they're fans because sometimes there's so many like Hollywood people who don't feel like they're fans, or if I reference like a movie or something, they don't even know what you're talking about, and they're just sometimes that's so corporate. But like, no, I love it when people are actual also fans. And then for me, I'm such a movie fan, and then people are like, "Oh, you have to play it cool. You want to." I was like that's to me seems not cool.
right,
So I don't know. I just want to be me. Like I don't get where it's like even though I'm an actor and I've been in things that I get recognized for, but I am being such a fan like who wanted to meet the Muppets. I get excited when I meet people. Like I almost like fanboy and like it is exciting.
yeah.
And people say, "Oh, yeah, you should not do that because that makes you seem like a fan." And it's like I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's a weird deal, because as long as you're not super crazy, or which I don't think you would be, but like
No, 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 definitely not.
telling somebody that you enjoy what they do is probably one of the best compliments I feel like another creative can give to a creative. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I agree with you 100%, dude. It's weird, like even on the underground indie level, like I'll go to like a filmmaker's house and like they don't have any movies, and I'm always like, that's very suspect to me. You know what I mean? It's like, well, why are you making movies if you're not really like movies that much? Like you got to kind of live, breathe, and sleep, eat. You know what I mean? Do the movie thing, but you do it because you love it, not because you're trying to like paint this facade of I'm hardcore like film guy, you know. But yeah, the filmmakers that are huge fans are always, I think, the better filmmakers because that's kind of like I never went to an official film school. What I consider my film school was just watching a bunch of movies, reading movie books, commentary tracks, you know, just kind and then getting out there and doing it, of course.
That's the film school. That's better than I think any film school. And like people I know who've gone to film school, like they would say the best thing they got out of it was the friendships and the relationships, and that it's people that they're still working with today.
Yeah.
But by actually being loving movies and then just going on set and doing it. And like Clint Eastwood says that he feels that he's better now than when he started. And even though people look, oh, someone who's in their 90s, but it's you do it again and again, and you just get better and better at it. And it's repetitive. So that's why it's too bad that. But I know Quentin Tarantino, he wants to stop after his 10th film because I guess he doesn't want to.
Ruin his legacy. He feels like once you hit 60 years old, you shouldn't be making movies anymore or something like that, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, I understand what he's saying, but I don't agree. But then I like with Spielberg, who I think is one of the best. Like I'm trying to think what I've loved in the last 20 years, and it's not a large list. Like I'm trying to like I liked Ready Player One. I thought that was fun, but BFG was
Right.
terrible. Like The Post, I don't care. Why is that's
Yeah.
not what I want to see from my Spielberg.
Yeah. I don't think it's a matter of age. I think it's more a matter of like
Taste or what's
being
important to you.
yeah, being comfortable. Like what like he doesn't have anything to prove anymore. You know what I mean? Like if you once you lose something to prove, that's more important than age, I think. Because like you talk about like the earlier Spielberg movies, like he was building the legacy of what Spielberg is today. You know what I mean? Which it's funny because I always make the joke. I've been making movies so long that like I remember when you say you're gonna make films, and people go, "Okay, Spielberg," and then the next generation was, "Okay, Tarantino." I wonder what the new person, what the new person they're using nowadays is. Maybe it's Baker. It'll be
Yeah.
Baker pretty soon. Okay, Sean Baker, good. You know?
But here's the thing that's interesting. So, as movie fans, you know that Sean Baker, but so many people still don't have never heard of any of his movies, or like I feel like the Florida Project is the one that's most known, and I so many people just don't know, and because it's not a Marvel movie, and if you look how much it gross compared to it's very they made very little, though I guess with small budgets like Tangerine. I think cost like $120,000, which is a tremendous amount of money, but for a movie that's so low,
Yeah.
and so that's like I think to for an act to get residuals, like a movie has to be in the profit. Like that's one of the few things I've done that I get residuals
Yeah.
from because it very quickly and easily surpassed the money that its budget. I think
Yeah.
that probably, but so yeah, so I think making movies for lower, like I know, and I've been trying to get projects off the ground, and a lot of people want to stay away from lower budget, which I don't understand because it's much easier, quicker profit margin, but they have it in their mind. No, it has to cost this much, but it's like things can be done so much cheaper, like especially with phones, editing software, like so much. And I was just looking at a film budget, and there's all these things that you could just eliminate, like the location manager assistant.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean sometimes the producer could be the location manager, let alone the location manager's assistant. I mean, it's good for people to have jobs, but when you're trying to make an indie film, there's so many parts that you could just the producers take on all these roles, put on all these hats.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think some people measure their like artistic worth and how much money that they can get to do things when you really you don't need millions of dollars to Sean Baker's perfect example of it. It's like you don't need millions of dollars to go out there and make something close to the heart that people can feel, you know what I mean, and entertain people, It's you just gotta. It's more passion. You gotta have the passion, and like you said, like when we do like we make movies for like 10, 15, 20 grand a movie type deal. You know what I mean? So we're definitely out of the ballpark. We're almost in a category where like they don't look anything like Hollywood wants to fuck with. Like they're like, you know what I mean? Like to be in Hollywood, it has to have a certain polished vibe to it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
Tangerine was shot on the iPhone.
oh,
So
really?
yeah, and that was they had it was an iPhone 5S. And they got it was an anamorphic lens they put on like from a company called Moondog Labs, and then they had an app called Filmic Pro,
Yeah.
which would have like I guess the apertures and the color or whatever, and just color corrected. But that movie it was just shot on an iPhone, and you're able and the phones since then, like that movie. I mean, that came out 10 years ago now, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
Like the phones are even better. And
Oh, yeah.
so when people say, "Oh, we don't have the," but they're like, people could basically make a movie for almost free or for nothing. Though the one thing they had, he had good sound. Like he always has. It was Iron Strauss who did the sound on Tangerine. He's amazing, and I've worked with him 3 times. And it's like you got to have good sound because so many times, like I know we talked about ADR earlier. Like, there's nothing worse when you're watching a movie and you can tell something is ADR'd and the mouth isn't matching up or it's
Yeah.
slightly the performance.
Like,
I did a sci-fi channel movie with Steve Gutenberg, which and I had we shot outdoors and I guess they I had to ADR everything and it's like maybe if people watch the movie maybe they don't know, but when I watch it, it's just like um tough. So maybe that's the one good thing if AI is able to, because I had a video that I showed a friend and they're like, oh, if you have bad sound, the AI could just replicate your audio and just clean it up and get rid of background noise. And that's kind of how they made the new Beatles song,
hmm.
where they found an old John Lennon recording. And there's like the making of it. I think it's on Disney Plus how they did it. They had his old recording.
Was it like who did that new Beatles music video? Wasn't that like Peter Jackson or some heavyweight director?
I think it was. That sounds correct.
Yeah. I know
Uh,
he's doing some definitive documentary, I think, on the Beatles. I think that's like his current thing. Peter Jackson's another incredible filmmaker that like it's weird that's like when people talk about they need more money for budgets, you should think about stuff like that because you take a filmmaker like Peter Jackson, super talented, but he got after Lord of the Rings, he just got into a place where he needed like billions of dollars to make a movie, and then they didn't really perform that well. They could have been great movies, but we all know that for whatever reason, sometimes things just don't click. It could be a masterpiece, and this, the audience just doesn't click with it and then you're in trouble because if you're dumping $1 billion into a movie and you don't make it back like
yeah, well, that's
that's when
where
you're in trouble. Yeah.
the Hobbit movies were for me like very disappointing. Like, and I like Lord of the Rings were great,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah he did all of those, and it's like, and also I wonder, are people excited about Avatar? Like for Avatar 3, Fire and Ash, are we excited?
I don't think so. No.
And
Nah,
James Cameron is great. He's one of the best filmmakers, I
He
think.
is. Super inspirational. Like James Cameron's like reinvented film a couple times, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. But yeah, the Avatar deal, like it was cool when the first one came out because it was all this new advanced stuff.
Hmm.
Unless he's creating some new way of doing things, I'm not super
I
excited.
know I met James Cameron once, and I asked him, "Hey, any chance we'll get True Lies 2?" And he was like, "Not every movie needs a sequel." And but, okay, but I guess he's spending the rest of his life making Avatar
Yeah,
movies. And I want them to be good. And it's but when you go to like Comic Cons or things, you don't see people cosplaying as Navi or like I don't know, do people care? I don't.
it's a lot. I think it'd be a lot to cosplay. I mean, there's some incredible cosplayers out there, but you might be need to be a professional makeup artist to make something that looks like good
Yeah,
that.
no,
You know what I mean?
they're incredible though. Or
Yeah.
what movies? Do you think that's going to be the number one movie of this year?
Avatar 3?
Yeah,
No.
coming December.
Unfortunately, I feel like it's probably not going to perform. By the time they got to, I don't know how great the second one performed, but I don't know. I don't know. It all depends, I guess, what it's going up against. Um, and I hope success for him because I'm a huge fan.
Mhm.
But I don't think, by the time you get to that third film, it's hard really to pull, especially like we were saying with streaming, like it's going to be streaming in a couple months, by early 2026. By March, it'll probably be on some type
Disney
of
Plus.
streaming. Yeah.
And,
So,
and and young people don't care about the movie theater. Like, I just wonder how much life the movie theater like has. Like, I can't imagine it's ever going to go extinct, and there's going to always be people who go. But it's just, I don't know. It's just wild how it's like young people just don't care because they're on just social media and like TikTok, and that's what's
yeah,
like a lot of young people. They don't grow up wanting to like you and to make movies. They want to be influencers.
horrifying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's like there's all these verticals and like these vertical movies, which that's not cinematic and it's just, but I don't know, that's the future. People because they're just watching on their phones and they like how it looks vertically.
We have an AMC up by us that kind of dips into the art house more than other theaters do, I feel. And that's the only way I think theaters are going to, the conversation of when a theater is going to die pops up a lot. But I think they'll stay around as long as they do new movies, they
Mhm.
do revival screenings, 20, 30, 40, 50th anniversary. Um, I think like the one up by us, they do like concerts now. Like you can go see concerts there, you can see sporting events. So I think by them throwing it across the board with all those different things, that's how they'll kind of keep them open. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's more. I feel like in the last year, anniversary screenings than ever before. Like
Oh yeah,
30th anniversary of this, the 50th of that, and like, and it's and that makes the passage of time is so scary when it's like, wait, how is that this old now? Like it's just
it's sad to think about like the movies we get now, which are entertaining and stuff. It's like, do you really think that they're gonna be getting a 40th anniversary? You think people are gonna care enough about, that these movies to get a 50th anniversary 50 years down the line? I don't think the generation of films that we have coming through now with the 50th and stuff like that. Back to the Future, Goonies, Ninja Turtles is right now at that theater doing a 35th anniversary. It's like I can't think of any newer movies that are going to have.
I know.
Oh,
I mean, as maybe some horror movies like Weapons just came out, and I feel like that's gonna be probably a classic in the future. I just went
yeah,
to a 40th anniversary screening of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was amazing, and so is also one of my favorites. The
classic.
actor who played Francis was there, and he was just talking about he compared to like if there's a movie from 1945, like to 85, like, and that seems so long ago. But now 85 like doesn't seem that long ago. Like, but I'm trying to think what movies, and there's so much saturation, and so I feel like right now we're in an age where there's better TV overall than movies,
Definitely.
and it's just yeah, what movies and like I feel like from the 80s and 90s we could name so many things. Like that's amazing. That's a favorite, and I'm sure there's things that I don't know what's gonna stick
Why?
out.
Why do you think we have that feeling? Do you think it's just that we're tied to that generation, or you think it's a quality of film? What do you think?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't, and some people would say, oh, no, you're just nostalgic because you grew up with that. And it's when you say, oh, but I do think they made things better than I think. Like even the original, like the Star Wars prequels, like I have trouble watching them because they just don't, it looks like a video game, especially by the
right.
time you get to Revenge of the Sith. It's all on a green screen. None of it feels real even if at the time it was brand new, it's like, oh wow, but it just for me that makes it not hold up that well.
Mm.
Just the visual effects. So that's when you have things that are practical. And there definitely is something tied to when we were kids. But I feel like there's movies like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, even Who Framed Roger Rabbit and
Oh yeah.
Muppet stuff is stuff I loved as a kid and I love now and love even more. And I just don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not able to watch things as a kid now, but how I don't know, like they don't. It's not just not as good things. There's less creativity. I think there's a lot of studio corporate things that don't allow filmmakers to filmmake. But Megalopolis is an interesting one. Which did you see Megalopolis?
No, I want to see it. It has me and Alex actually almost went to a screening where Coppola was doing like a Q&A, but they wanted like $100 a ticket. So it was like, no, dude, come on.
Uh,
Yeah. Did
no,
you? What do you think?
no, it's you want it to be good, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. It's not good, which
Okay.
I mean, they called it Megaflopolis, and that's just one of the interesting things where, like, you think so many times the studio interferes and with all their notes and sometimes, but like The Godfather, which is regarded as one of the best movies of all time, like there were so many studio notes and studio control. He made a great movie, so it's like, but then here when he pays for it himself and has everything. I mean, it's. Oh, did you watch The Offer? It was a Paramount Plus show about the making of The Godfather. Anyone who hasn't seen it, I would give it a high recommendation.
And they had what's his name from Balls of Fury played Coppola.
Oh
Yeah,
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 Yeah.
in fairness, I mean, he was also in the Fantastic Beast movies.
Yeah.
No, he was great as Coppola, and the guy who played Brando was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. There's great movies now, but it's just so many of them I think there's more movies that aren't good. And I just saw Freakier Friday, which I actually loved so much.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
thought it was really good, but then I wonder how much of it is like the nostalgia and the other one, even though the other one, previous one was 2003.
Yeah.
Like I think the nostalgia, like I'm such a sucker for nostalgia. Like Fuller House made
Oh
me
yeah.
so happy. I don't think I've ever been made happier from a TV show where I was just because Full House growing up, I just loved and people. I mean, they would talk negatively, yeah, but they would talk shit. Excuse my language, but Fuller House. Like, what are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
like the best thing ever.
That's what I'd rather. Instead of all the reboots, I'd rather see them reboot like classic TV shows. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well, but then they have the ability, like, to
With the
make
people. Yeah.
a ninth season. If they a Full House that would take place, it ended in 95, in 96 with AI, and it's like I'd have to ask, oh, that's at first I was like, wow, that would be really cool. I could watch brand new episode, but then it's
When it has that AI vibe to it, it's just like it can
Well, it takes the heart out of it.
does
It
take the
takes the
heart
heart
out
out.
of it.
yeah. No, so I think at first it would be like, wait, I've never seen this one before. Like when they're at the point where you can't even tell the difference, that it seems like, oh, that's John Stamos and Bob Saget. They perform, but if Um, no, I think it's gonna be missing something, and but I think once all these people are all gone, or it's gonna exist. They're gonna probably in 100 years, or even less than that. There's gonna be new episodes of I Love Lucy. There's gonna be with classic Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz at that age, just having just like The Simpsons, they'll never age and probably do new stuff because once the families they're all removed, everyone will sign off for the copyright. Which also I think will make it harder for new people, starting out because eventually, as actors, I wonder, am I gonna have to compete with 1970s Jack Nicholson? Like
Right.
once they start I mean, imagine putting 1970s Jack Nicholson in movies, and I feel like there's probably people who are gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, but it's not.
Yeah. It's not because it's not Jack. It's like a bad. Even if it's good, it's like a bad imitation of him, And I'd rather see his kid do it, yeah, than see an AI thing do it. The music too. I think music's going the same way too. I've been hearing a lot of like big artists. They're selling their catalogs and everything to the record labels before they die for big sums of money.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna be seeing like there'll probably be another Ozzy Osbourne album. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, Tupac performs at.
Tupac, yeah, the holograms, yeah,
I remember I think at Radio City Music Hall I saw like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis holograms perform, and I saw Frank Sinatra, and this was probably 25 years ago. Uh,
yeah.
so I mean, and the technology, and it sold out. They sold out Radio City Music Hall.
Was it
Uh,
how'd it look?
uh, it looked great.
Really?
I don't know, probably like a 14-year-old kid, but I
Yeah,
was impressed. I don't really remember now. I don't have a recording of it. We didn't have a phone to record everything, and now people just record everything. They don't even watch things live. They just have their phone, like
yeah.
living in the moment.
I seen an animatronic Walt Disney recently.
Yeah, I
It
haven't.
looks just like him, dude. It's like, wow.
I ran the voice. Yeah, that at Disneyland in the theater. I need to go to Disneyland and see it. I have a lot of friends who went on the opening day, Disneyland's birthday, July 17th, but it was just too hectic and crowded that day, and
Yeah.
I hope I get to see him soon, though. I've heard mixed things. I've heard people say it's great, and then other people, like I saw Bob Gurr recently and Floyd Norman, who are both people who worked for Walt Disney, and they don't like it, and like that's not Walt.
If you know him, it's if you know him and you were friends with him, it's got to be a weird, trippy deal knowing he's been gone for a little bit.
Yeah, that's some him and Jim Henson. Like I wonder, like if they were around a little longer, what I wonder often, what would Walt Disney think of his company today? Would he recognize it? Would he be very happy, very disappointed? Would he hate certain things? Would he love? Like, I just wonder. Like, he couldn't even imagine. Like, that would be fascinating if we had the power to just, bring him back and be like, hey, like,
Yeah, yeah. What do you think?
I think you're like, whoa, I love all the money I'm making now.
Yeah.
I
Well, didn't Walt, is he one of the people that got his head frozen or something like that? Was he one of those guys?
I
don't
think
think
that's
that's true. I think that's
Okay.
just rumor that got very widely spread, but
Yeah.
and it's a good rumor. It's
It
a
is
good
fun.
conspiracy theory, but I don't think that's true.
Well, it is such a weird action of getting, your head frozen or whatever for the future to come back.
Hmm.
Scary, scary stuff. Yeah.
Imagine you do that and the power goes out. And like,
Yeah.
remember the movie Forever Young?
Of course.
oh yeah, yeah.
Do you know who wrote that?
No.
J.J. Abrams.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was credited as like Jonathan something. So he didn't go by J.J. then, but it's like, oh, that's interesting. So he's been around forever.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie. That was my first Mel Gibson movie. I remember I think I was 8 when I saw it in theaters, and one of my memories is these women just gushing over, "Oh, Mel is so hot, so dreamy." And an 8-year-old me probably didn't understand, like, what? He's okay. He's hot, dreamy. I didn't know what.
Yeah. There's like M. Night Shyamalan, before he took the twist into dark thrillers, he did like this weird movie with Rosie O'Donnell. He had like this almost like it's almost like a family film, and then it didn't fly. So then he kind of went into that the M. Night Shyamalan we all kind of know and love today, who's the dark
What's
thriller,
that?
yeah, the twisty ending type guy.
But then I think his reputation now, because after the first few, I don't think people take him seriously anymore, and he can't really even get the budget. Like
Yeah.
old, like I remember the trailer was a really interesting thing, and it was interesting, but it's not great, but it was. Did you see old?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched that streaming. I wasn't a big fan.
I know, I wanted to. Like the concept was interesting, and there were interesting elements, but yeah, just he has not been able to make a great movie.
He's got those three big, he's got the Sixth Sense, Signs, and
Unbreakable. Oh, Glass
Unbreakable.
really was disappointing. I wanted Glass.
Yeah.
Like when that came after Split, and there's
Split was good.
this is a spin-off of Unbreakable, and they're gonna
Yeah.
and it just I was exciting because I didn't even know. Like when I saw Split, I didn't know. I don't want to spoiler, but hey, yeah, like
Yeah.
wait, what? He's in this?
Split's fun. Split's,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, at the end there, yeah. Split's, I enjoyed Split because that was kind of like his resurfacing, if you will. Like he did The Last Airbender, which was like a big failure for him. Um,
I even like Trapped, which I think was the last one.
Trapped with
Fun
Josh
with him.
Hartnett, yeah. I seen
Yeah,
that in theaters. That was good.
I have to say, I really couldn't get into it. I mean,
I liked it until when they got out of the arena, it kind of started going away from me. But everything inside was pretty fun.
And Haley Mills was in it.
Yeah,
Like I feel like Haley Mills I haven't seen her in anything new since she was Miss Bliss and like Saved by the Bell, and it was
yeah.
just like Haley Mills is from the original Parent Trap, Pollyanna, like Disney legend, and it was like, oh my God, she's in a new movie. Like just hearing her voice, there was something comforting that took me back, and I probably gave Trapped a lot of extra points just because
Yeah.
casting Haley Mills. And the movie's called Trapped, and she's in the Parent Trap. And when they're trying to catch him, is it a Parent Trap? Like, is that a pun? Did M. Night Shyamalan?
I like Trap. Trap was pretty good. The ending was a little weak, but everything else was pretty good. For the most part, I like Shyamalan's movies. Like, what is it? Is it Lady in the Water or is it something else?
Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
That was fun. The Happening was a great idea, but the movie, I can't do, even though Marky Mark's from Massachusetts, I can't do too much Marky Mark. But The Happening, the idea of The Happening is a great idea. That's a perfect little horror
The
story.
Village too. I mean,
Village was good.
I've
Yeah.
never
I love
rewatched
The
it.
Village.
See, I saw it only once, and I can in like what 2004. That's so crazy that I could say I saw a movie only once in 2004, and I still remember. But it's like I never had the desire to go back and look at it again. But I remember just watching once. Like, okay, I like that. And sometimes it seems like that might be a good idea.
His movies they became so reliant on that twist surprise ending that like once you watched it that one time, you were like good for a while. You didn't have to go back to it. Um, that was kind of my word, The Hateful Eight, because it has that build up to like that surprise twisty ending, but it's still a great movie. Like I've watched it a couple times since,
And I haven't watched this, but on Netflix, there's, I guess, a TV show version of Hateful Eight, or it's broken up into 4 episodes,
yeah.
where it's like an extended version where it's like an hour each. And I have not done that yet, but I did just watch at the Vista, which is Quentin's theater, Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, where it's edited into one movie, and there's different elements, like a little different ending before the intermission, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
That would get a wide release, and I think that's something that they're not going to release uh,
Interesting.
a physical copy of or digital. That you'll have to go see that and have that experience in the theater, which is cool.
I was surprised to see that David Fincher is directing the sequel to
Oh
Once
yeah.
Upon a Time, and I love David Fincher too, but it's such a weird because he's such a huge director too. You'd think that that'd be something Tarantino would like complete and not bring in another director for. I was surprised to hear that was unfolding that way.
hmm And there was an article, I didn't actually click on it, but the headline was why Quentin chose David Fincher. And now I kind of want to, okay, I guess there's a reason. I guess they had. Uh, and oh, Karan Kargulian, who's Sean Baker's Good Luck Charm, who's in every one of his movies, is in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel. So that he's only, I think, been in Sean movies. So that's really cool. I wonder what that'll be like for him to work for another director because he's probably so comfortable with Sean and it's just so laid back.
Yeah,
He was so good in Anora
yeah.
that I wonder, like, oh, is he going to be a movie star now? When is that supposed to come
The
out?
sequel, I don't know. I'm curious if it's getting going streaming or if it's gonna get a theatrical
Oh,
release.
and I think I'll definitely get a theatrical.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess Quentin Tarantino is with as the producer. Oh, I would be shocked, even though I guess David Fincher was his last one with The Killing, and then
Netflix.
there was yeah, that was Netflix, and then before that there was the other one during the making of Citizen Kane. I forget the name, and that looked really cool. It
Yeah.
was placed in the it was a guy's name. It was Mankiewicz. No, it
Oh
was
yeah,
Mank.
yeah, that's close to it.
Yeah,
Tarantino wrote the sequel. Did he write the sequel?
I believe so. I mean, I don't.
Interesting.
And he's a great as a writer, like True Romance, which he just
Oh,
wrote. One of my maybe my favorite Tarantino film.
yeah, classic. Natural Born Killers. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm a big fan. And the funny part about that is like Oliver Stone bought the script from him and changed like two things and then took like complete writing credit for it. But hey, it happens. I just read Oliver Stone's book,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
Chasing the Light. Yeah, it was a really good book. He only really talked about Salvador, which is a really good. I don't know. It's kind of not a lot of people know about it, but it's really good. He talked about Platoon, Wall Street, and his earlier film Seizure and The Hand, which are kind of under the cuff too. But I was hoping it was going to go a little further into because he's got such a great
okay.
catalog, you know what I mean, of films, but I'm hoping there's a sequel to it, but you never know. Oh, we talked about Scarface, like, and writing for different people.
hmm
But yeah, I'm curious to see that Fincher direct that because he's another director that's heavyweight. You know what I mean? You know, good Seven, of course.
I mean, he's great with Brad. I was just thinking how many Brad Pitt movies he's done. So there's Seven, Fight Club, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So
Yeah,
I'd say him and yeah, Brad Pitt. That's a good pairing. They do.
I know Brad Pitt's not it, but Zodiac is such a great movie. Superb. People don't really bring that up with him, which they should. Everybody's great in that too. Even what's his name?
Charles Fleischer has a great little bit in that.
Oh, Roger Rabbit himself, dude.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's one of the most surreal things where I pinch myself. Like me and him live in the same neighborhood, and I'll see him at the grocery store.
yeah.
Like he literally lives down the street from me, and it's like I'll go, and it's like, and I mentioned Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies, and now how I'm seeing him regularly. That guy, and he's very eccentric.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's fascinating, and it's like what? But yeah, he was great. And I remember when Zodiac came out, like just in Starbucks, he was telling everyone you got to see Zodiac, and that's just one of the surreal things. Like I moved to Hollywood not knowing anyone, and now I'm talking about I'm in Starbucks with Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about in the
Yeah.
beginning too. Like that's why the show kind of developed from situations like not being able to do those cool things like that. Who was the first famous person you met? Do you remember when you first touched down, when you first started roaming?
Oh, I'm embarrassed that I can't think of the answer, but Jay Leno is one of the first um, famous people, and a lot of the things. Fame is such a weird, subjective thing because
Yeah.
people will want to know who's the most famous person that you're friends with, or that you know, or that you've worked with. And right now, people would say, "Oh, yeah, like Selena Gomez is one of the most famous people in the world." And I did 8 episodes of Wizards of Waverly Place with her, but we filmed the first season before it ever aired. And when we were doing that, she's just some like 14-year-old kid. I don't know who she is or other. So it's not like, oh my God, I don't have the excitement of, oh my God, I'm going to work with Selena Gomez because she was, just a kid that nobody knew. Where like right now, if someone worked with her, there'd be that excitement. And I feel like I've had so obviously when I worked with Ted Danson, it was like, oh, yes, Ted Danson. But like Glee, everyone there became super famous. But when we started it, like to me, they're just, all
Yeah.
regular people. I've met Spielberg a couple times. I was very starstruck. I mean, Rufio, Dante Bosco from Hook, I worked with.
Okay.
He was actually the first person I worked with that was like, oh my God. I did an episode of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, which was my first Disney Channel job. And it was like, oh my God, that's Rufio from Hook. I was out here for only like a year at this point. That's Rufio from Hook. Oh my God. And we're in this. Yeah, that was really exciting. Um, that was one of the first ones. And yeah, I'm trying to think who else, but yeah, Jay Leno, he's one of the nicest. I saw Jay Leno recently in traffic, or we were at a red light together. You could recognize whenever you see a convertible or a really old fancy car, and you look and then you see who's driving it, half the time it's usually Jay Leno. And he's one of the nicest celebrities. He's one of the nicest.
Yeah, he seems cool. I know you did the Tonight Show. You did a skit way early in the career. You did a skit on the Tonight Show. Was that before or after you met him?
That was actually after I met him. Where because when I first did you ever watch his show?
Oh yeah,
So yeah, he used to do like jaywalking and interview people
yeah.
on the streets, and he would go to the Oakwood apartments, which were right near his NBC studio. And I used to watch the show. So when I first moved to LA, I was like, oh, let me try. I want to go to the Oakwood apartments where he would interview, and that's where I ended up living for a year. And he would come over to the apartments and just interview people, and that's where I met him first. But then I was in a sketch on his show where I sang terribly on American Idol, and Simon Cowell took a blowtorch and burned me to death.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think. I've met Adam Sandler, he was really cool. But I'm trying to like the early ones.
I know you worked with Tom Green.
That was the first thing that was the first audition I had when I moved out here, and I booked. And here's what's interesting. I found out about the audition from my manager 2 hours early before the audition. I went and I showed up, and it's like, oh, so you made me always afraid to go on vacation or leave town because if I had just go and show up. But it was a show for the E Network. Um, and it was a dramatization of Tom Green's life. He told a story from his crazy life. And he was like kind of the narrator. And there was another guy pl who played Tom Green, and I was playing his best friend. And as Tom's telling the story, we were acting it out. Um, and that
Cool.
was fun. But no, when I moved out here, I was very fortunate to just get to work again and again. And it was like, I don't know how lucky I was because now I'm struggling, but I worked very regularly in my first year here, and it was just going from set to set to set. I did in my first year. I worked with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I did a commercial with them and danced with them and a Target spot. So that
That's
was
cool.
yeah. And just as a horror guy, like at auditions, I would see different people my age, and Miko Hughes, who was
Okay.
he's on Full House and Wes
Pet
Craven's,
Cemetery. Yeah.
and it's just that was one of the surreal things where there's people who I knew, and they were, wait, we're going for the same auditions, like, and it's very just it's an interesting life. I should write a book because I'm realizing I'm just scrambling to just remember and think of who did I see when I first came out here. 'Cause I've been out here 20 years now,
Yeah.
with or longer, and it goes by tremendously fast, but also like before I moved out here, that feels like another lifetime ago.
That's the cool part of being out there, though. I think you get to stumble into, folks that you appreciate, you know what I mean? That you kind of you grew up have to play an influence in the reason what the things you do, you know what I mean? Being a performer like that.
Yeah, are you a Star Trek fan at all?
Alex is, yeah.
Yeah, I love Star Trek.
Okay, 'cause that's I ended up just running into like so many different people like from Star Trek, and some of them have influenced me. Like when I was 16, I went to a Star Trek convention, and Robin Curtis was there, and who played Lieutenant Savick, who she took over from Kirstie Alley. And at the convention, I remember she remembered like it was all weekend, and then the next day she would, "Oh, hi, Josh." And I remember feeling so special that wow. And like that taught me, and that's something that I adapted and learned from because now I've done conventions. I remember how special that made me feel. Like when people come to my table, I ask them their names and I do my best to remember. And it's like uh, Alex, Mathew, good to see you. And I could tell. And it's like, wow, like I wish I knew how to contact her because I could tell her, you gave me that and I've been able to do that. And I could tell it's made people happy. And because I never understand when there's celebrities who aren't nice to people
Right.
or give someone, because it's so easy. Like I know when I've talked to people or interact, like sometimes you could hear them walking away and like, oh my God, and they're on like cloud nine. And because I get that feeling when I meet a celebrity and they're nice. Um, I'll say the last person who I met who was amazing. Yeah, Zoe Saldana, speaking of Avatar, she didn't know who I was, and I met her at a screening for Amelia Perez, and I just went, I talked to her for a little bit. She was so nice, and she immediately went to my list of nicest celebrities. And it's like, but there's other people who at a screening, oh, they won't talk to people afterwards. They'll just leave it. I guess I know she won all the awards, and I guess that's why I'm able to vote in the SAG Awards. So she's sure she's trying to win awards, but it's easy to be nice. And she was just so nice. And it was like she asked, "Can I hug you?" And we hugged, and it was like afterwards, I was like, "Oh my God, Zoe Saldana, Natiri, like."
Yeah.
Uhura from Star Trek. Like it's a good feeling. And it's like I've seen people who don't do that and they dismiss fans, and it's uh I don't get it. And those people still work.
They must have heavyweight like gigs that they're known for because we hit the convention circuit. We get a few up here, and it's like, yeah, when you see someone who's not cool to like the fans, it's so crazy because it's like why be unhappy? Like you're at an event, you typically you're being paid to be an event that people
Hmm.
that love you are coming by and telling you how much they love you and you mean to them, and they're probably buying stuff at your booth, and unless you're like unless your gimmick like you were like an asshole character or something and you're trying to like keep it real for him. Like wrestlers will do that. Unless
Yeah.
that's the case, like you should be cool. I remember we'd see it. We have horror conventions down here, dude. We'd see people not friendly at all. Um, which is kind of sucks because like you're a fan of somebody and then you go up to them and they're not cool and you're like, oh, like I'm not a fan of that, dude. You know what I mean? We've seen people like passed out at their tables, like fucking from drinking and doing them pills. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just like it's crazy, and I understand. Like, I'm not trying to give them hard times. Like, yeah, you put in a full day. You know, I assume that your energy it's got to be draining because I know even when you love your fans, staying upbeat and staying on for like 12 hours has to be exhausting. You know what I mean? So I understand it, but it's like you got to be, I don't know, go get a cup of coffee or something. You know what I mean? You got to be a little you got to be, good to the people that, got you there, so to speak.
Yeah, and then there's people, and mo I think most people are wonderful, and
Yeah.
most people, and but then occasionally you get a Chevy Chase, and usually I don't even want to talk negatively, but everyone has,
Yeah.
one, and it's just why, and maybe he'll see this and realize, oh, maybe I was a bad guy, maybe.
I don't think Chevy cares. Chevy's one of those dudes that I think that's half of his gimmick too. Like he's that snark kind of I'm better than you. That's kind of like the Chevy Chase vibe. So you
Hmm.
kind of like it'd be weird. It'd be nice to go to get a hug from Chevy, but like I would never expect, you know what I'm saying? Just one of
But
those
can I
things.
tell you my story with him, and or
Yeah.
before I go in, I don't know, because other people would tell me, oh, he's just joking, or that's his sense of humor. But so I was doing 2 days on a movie, and I'm nobody. And I'm just a 2 day like day player. And we're sitting around the cast in our cast chairs. And a woman drops her bottle of water, and I go to bend down to start to pick it up, and Chevy Chase tells me, no, just leave it. And okay, of course, I'm going to listen to him. And then Chevy Chase, he gets out of his chair, he bends down and he picks it up and starts telling me, oh, the youth today, like making the old guy. And here's the thing, no one else knows this. So he's making me look like an inconsiderate asshole.
Right,
And
right.
and people have and it just gave me a really bad feeling. And I know people have said, oh, no, that's just his shtick, but it was embarrassing to me
For sure.
because I don't know these people, and it's like anytime, even still, when I get an acting job, I still feel like I'm very lucky, and a lot of it, it's like, oh wait, the woman dropped her water, and he just leaving it, and it was the act of purposefully, intentionally embarrassing someone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think am I too sensitive with that? What do you think, or
I
is that
think
funny?
I think that it was part of his gimmick, but he should have a better way of letting people be in on the joke after the
And
fact.
when that's the first time I'm interacting with him, like we
Yeah.
never spoke. We never even spoke. Those are the first time he's speaking to me is to embarrass me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't support that. I think that that's his I think Chevy also like erased a lot of his I think cocaine kind of like went crazy in his life for many years. So I almost there's a certain thing with people that they lose like
Sense of decorum.
like that, but also like they're so like on, like he's so on that he probably burnt that into like public Chevy Chase is becoming the character, like wrestlers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Dice, like Andrew Dice Clay, of course, you know what I mean? Like he's what is this? I think Andrew Silverstein's his real name, but like he's Dice, dude. Like you see him anywhere and he's Andrew Dice Clay, but like I don't know. I hear comedians say that he's like, if you catch him behind the scenes, he's like a normal, nice guy. But he's one of those guys that just they live that character so long that they become the character, and it's hard to break.
Yeah, I've seen him like sometimes hiking on hikes just in the morning and they exchanged a head nod, but it's not, yeah, he's definitely not on. Like I follow his Instagram where he'll do his bit where he'll approach people, but just on the hikes, he's on the morning hike, just very quiet and just a head nod, and it's not.
That's
I've
cool.
never exchanged more than a head nod with him, but I mean, that's like, it's a very cool life.
Yeah.
Um, like, oh, that's yeah, one of the surreal things, like Back to the Future, which is probably my all-time favorite, having just met some of the cast from that multiple times, and like then even was getting their phone number, and like, how is this my life? Like, that's
Yeah, that's
like, I
cool.
just I can't believe it. It's like,
That's a pricey convention visit right there. The Back to the Future
oh,
people.
I know. Like, I had a friend who they were here in LA in October and wanted to know, hey, do you want to go in together for like the Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd? And it's, yeah, so it would be such a cool picture. And it's like, oh, it's too much. And I've met Christopher Lloyd before. I've never met Michael, and that would be really cool. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, like $800 just to, get a picture with the two of them.
It was they had Michael, they had Christopher, they had Biff, I forget his real
Yeah,
name,
Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson, and they had the girlfriend.
Yeah, Claudia Wells.
Yeah, and it was like $1,200 to like get their autographs and get a picture with them, and it was like, wow. Um,
Oh no, I was gonna say she was the one I was at a party with her, Claudia Wells, at Jennifer Parker, and it looked like she was waiting for an Uber, and I just decided to offer her a ride. So how about a ride, mister? And for whatever reason, she said yes. And I drove her home. And like that's one the highlight it's of my life. Like I still like I've seen that movie more than any other movie, and now how is that I just couldn't believe it. Like I was like I haven't done drugs, but I think that was probably better than any other drug. I was high for a week. I
yeah.
drove Jennifer Parker. She got in my car. I drove her home. It's we're friends now. Like it's like,
I remember Michael J. Fox's autograph was like $300, and I was like, man.
but now I've seen Back to the Future posters like that have his autograph that people sell for
Oh,
$1,500.
oh yeah, yeah. It's the well. In all fairness to him, I think half of it went to like his charity that he was.
Yeah,
So I give kudos. It's not, Corey Feldman, which I believe you worked with Corey
I
Feldman.
have. Yes.
He's got there's like his booth prices floating around, which are like those are pretty insane nowadays. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
it used
we
to the
love Corey.
prices for that, like when the conventions first started, I feel like they were more reasonable, but then I think people realized, oh, people will pay, and the prices kept going up and up and up. And it's like, and then it used to only be like, people used to say the convention, that's where celebrities go for their careers to die. And but now it's widely accepted, thankfully, because I have an upcoming convention I'm doing, and I've watched videos on YouTube of people getting like Christopher Lloyd's autograph, and see, I don't blame him because he's older, but he's someone who doesn't really seem like he's paying attention, or he can't, I don't think probably even hear that well, but he'll just be looking away and then just sign the item. But then that's really cool if he's signing a Doc Brown action figure and it has his
Yeah,
autograph. But it's like, yeah, so when it's so much money, like I feel like you'd want to give people more interaction. But
give him the
Yeah.
free selfie at least. You know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah,
I remember when he first started going to convent, like Kane Hodder, the guy who plays Jason.
Jason, yeah.
I remember I got hit the first like, dude, like 20, maybe even 25 years ago. He gave me an autograph for $5. You know what I mean? Nowadays, he's like a $60 autograph. But when it comes to being a convention guy, you might know the answer to this. When we see those prices, is there, it always feels like there's some competitive thing with other guests. Like, does it have to be, is it an agent thing or like a convention thing where they get kickback? Is it like, how does that kind of work when setting prices?
I think they're I'm not that well versed because I'm still new in it, and I
Uh,
wish I could do a lot more conventions, but because I'm not in horror or sci-fi things, like there's not as many like Glee things. I think it's oftentimes the agent set it, but there's what they call guarantees. So like a convention, the one I'm going to in November, like I have a certain guarantee, meaning they're guaranteeing you're going to make this much money from selling your stuff, and if I don't sell that, then they match it. So I don't know if they have a suggested price, but I have Um, so like I was a recurring part on Wizards, but one of the girls, Jennifer Stone, who's a regular, she's going to be there. And I think the agent who's representing me and her, because she was a regular, one of the main people, they're going to set her price higher than mine. So I don't no, I don't know how that works, but like on sometimes Cameo, I'll look up other Glee cast people and see what are they going for, and I'll try to be, lower than they are, or it's kind of changing. Like, and sometimes I'll look and try to be because I was in 21 episodes, but others were over 100 episodes, and I'll try to have so, and that'll always change and fluctuate. But. Yeah, no, I guess there's probably some ego there where, wait, this person, they're charging that much? Okay, they can't be making more than me, so I'm gonna charge
Yeah.
that much. And I think that probably ends up like bringing it up for everyone else also. Like, wait, he's charging 60 and people are paying that. Well, I want to be 60. Like, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. I blame the Walking Dead people because there'd be people that would do like one day on the Walking Dead or like a zombie, or they play like a zombie and they would want like $40. And it was just, that's like the big turn that I remember in the time when it was just like things started growing at that point. Um,
I
you
guess they're
know,
making that money while they can, because I've heard that if you're on that show like during that year, maybe you would
yeah.
do really well at the conventions, but maybe now. Not as much now. I don't know.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, even if you have a line in Star Wars or Marvel, like you're good.
Oh
Like a
yeah.
lot of the conventions that I've done, I haven't done that well because a lot of the things were kid shows where right now, like things like Walking Dead, that's for adults, or a lot of the stars of yesteryear, even like Star Trek, it's shows people grew up watching, where the things I was on were still so new and the fans are kids and they're not the ones who are gonna spend 30 or $40, which is, a lot of money for
Yeah.
whatever, an autograph picture. So I'm hoping, but now I'm meeting people who say, I grew up with you. So maybe now that they grew up, because I'm very lucky that I could do conventions because this show business acting, it's so fun. It's the best career, but it's also a terrible career. You're unemployed after every job that
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for all the side things I'm able to do, like TikTok, Cameo, conventions, because it's so tough just to survive.
Like me and Alex both work regular jobs in order to be able to do our stuff. And it's like for an actor that lives in California or New York and that's what they do. I mean, it's got to be I'm sure that some of them have side hustles, you know what I mean?
I mean, I do. I had beginners, I don't want to say beginner's luck, but my first like 10 years, did just acting. And I was able to make a living at just acting, and that became a lot harder to maintain. And I have several, side jobs, and it's sometimes they'll recognize me and like, oh, and it's jobs they wouldn't expect.
Yeah,
Um, or like even like just delivery stuff. And it's like, oh, I thought you were an actor. Are you not an actor anymore? I'm doing this so I could still continue to
yeah.
act. So sometimes but you got to do the jobs. It's like you can't. It's a tough life.
Oh yeah. It's like that the famous waiter that like actors were all like waiters back in the day, you know what I mean? Probably
Yeah.
still, I mean, it's one of those anything, yeah, it's that's the nature of the beast. I mean, it's like, do you think there should be more of like you pay into because you pay into the union, right? You're SAG,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
like if you pay in, is there, or maybe if not, there should be some type of assistance for downtime. You know what I mean? Like when maybe things aren't going so hot, we're not, you're not killing it at some point. There should be because it's like it's cycles. Things come in cycles. You know what I mean? Like you'll be
Yeah.
on top today, maybe not tomorrow, then come back type deal. Does SAG offer something, anything like that, or no?
During the SAG strike, there was like a fund that I think like people like The Rock and Tom Cruise all donated like $1 million or something each for, where I was able to, fill out a form, and I was able to get some assistance, which was great, but it wasn't. it wasn't enough that I
Yeah.
still that I had to couldn't I still had to do all the other jobs, but it was very great. And I guess they have like an emergency relief fund if you're like destitute or you're gonna be homeless or you're gonna so I don't think I would be eligible for those,
Thank
thankfully.
God. Yeah.
But yeah, but they do have different things, and like there's also the actors fund and or different things for I guess the emergencies, but I don't think that's something I qualify for, but
Yeah.
um it's a in the life I feel like I would compare it to being like a drug addict where um I've experienced the highest of highs. Like I've like being on stage at the Golden Globes, like winning for Best Show with Glee, and that you're looking in the audience. Oh, there's Leonardo DiCaprio, there's Steven Spielberg, and it's like, and it's fun, and you go to the after parties with Wolfgang Puck catering, and it's just the best time. You're being on set on a great show with great writing, and it's like then a junkie or someone who's addicted, like, wait, I know how good that is. I want another hit, but
Yeah.
it's not coming. So I'm going through the withdrawals and just the suffering, not knowing how I'm going to pay my bills and all the withdrawals just to get another hit. And I've been fortunate enough to get another hit, but it hasn't been as good as the previous ones. And you wonder, is it going to be as good as it was on Glee? And it's just all of that not knowing and just, chasing that. Just being on set.
Yeah.
That's the high I'm chasing. Just being on set is just such a wonderful, happy place.
Yeah. When you first read the script for Glee, did you have any idea that it would become what it became? Like
No idea. I think it'll be impossible to know.
'cause it was
Uh,
kind of the format of it was like out of the norm. It wasn't like it had like a whole different kind of structure to it, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
it was just about a high school glee club. It didn't really I was grateful for a job and to be working, but it definitely, to me, it didn't sound like, and that made it even better when it blew up and became this huge thing because you weren't expecting it. And then because I had that experience, I started expecting it. So when I did like the first season of Mr. Mayor with Ted Danson, I was thinking, oh, this is probably going to be huge. It's Ted Danson.
Yeah.
It wasn't. So I think it's better not knowing and then, oh wow, people really like this.
Do you remember at what point you realized that this is going to be something special?
I do. So the show, and it was early on before even one of my episodes aired. I was in five of the first 13 episodes, but they aired the first episode May 19th, 2009. And then they weren't going to air the second episode for 4 months, which seemed like a mistake because they wanted to show it after the American Idol finale.
Hmm.
But then I went home to New Jersey for Memorial Day and I was at a birthday party and the DJ was playing the Glee version of Don't Stop Believin', and everyone was really loving it and dancing. And that was the first inkling of, I feel like I might be part of something special. And I remember that exactly. And then when the show did come out, and even my episodes started coming out, like the show was like really good, and people were loving it, and it was a slow, slow burn, and then it started getting the awards, and the SAG Awards nominations came out, and I was in enough episodes to be included in ensemble. Wait, I'm nominated for a SAG and then I won a SAG award.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I think that was probably like that exposed me to a whole world I never even knew of, just with and the whole public with publicists and all this stuff that I've never even dealt with or touched. And it was just okay. Like that was just huge. And it's like, um, yeah, I hope I could do something like that again one day because I never took it for granted, but I always thought, I guess, oh, I reached this point. This is where I am now, but it could go away so quickly too.
Who was like the driving creative force behind Glee? Like how Sopranos had like David Chase, I believe.
Ryan Murphy.
Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
What has he done anything since? Probably,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
so much.
I'm very ignorant with that question. I know.
He's an American Horror Story.
Oh, really?
He's like the People versus O.J. Simpson, like Dahmer. Um,
Really?
and his brother's like so much TV. He's like the king of TV. I think he
Okay.
signed like a $500 million Netflix deal or something. No, Yeah, he does a
He's
ton of
big.
stuff.
He's a big deal. Yeah. All
The
right.
big deal. Yeah, I did Nip Tuck before that, and
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like TV's run by like there's like maybe six creatives that all the big shows kind of come from those people, you know.
Mhm.
And you're a horror fan, you said, right? I know you got the Jaws shirt on.
Oh yes.
Happy 50th anniversary to
Uh,
Jaws.
yes, I'm gonna. I love the IMAX poster. You're gonna need a bigger screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm seeing that at the end of the month when it's coming out to theaters.
There's a new documentary. Yeah, because we're down by Martha's Vineyards over our way. So they had the big 50th a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus and it was on the new 4K where it's like the definitive documentary and I watched that and that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we were blessed. We had Carl Gottlieb on the show a couple seasons back, the writer of it, and played what's it? I forget his character in the film.
Yeah, he was a reporter, I think,
I think he was
right?
a reporter. He was like the right-hand man of the mayor. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but super cool. Jaws, I mean, that film, talk about a film that with a lasting impression, dude. Like the fear. I can't think of a film. It's like it's like when you watch it, it's not your typical horror movie. I think you can consider it a horror movie, but like
Mhm.
the fear that that put into people is I can't think of another film that put that much fear into people. Like I don't I if I go dive into a pool, I'm thinking of getting eaten by a shark. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's such a either it's just, you know, the raw human nature of being afraid of the shark or just the masterful. I mean, because the film's classic. But yeah, dude, Jaws is
Well,
Spielberg.
Richard Dreyfuss is someone we haven't seen in a long time.
I think
Like,
he's been getting in trouble. I think he's been saying weird things.
okay,
I think
I
he's
haven't
one of
heard
them.
that.
I think he's one of those guys now. Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Oh, Richard.
he said, yeah, he said something. I forget what he said, but he said something that like was upset a bunch of people, and then like he started canceling convention appearances because he had a cold. When it was realistically, it's like whatever he said got him. But Jaws, they've been talking about rebooting Jaws forever, which would be a bad idea. You know, the first one's so great. Why?
And
Why?
now they have movies like The Meg, which is like a super like gigantic thing. So even if you have something simple and realistic,
Yeah,
like the shark, which you don't even see, which you hardly see most of it, which added to the tension. Now they're gonna want to use all the CGI and show it all the time, and it's something that probably doesn't exist. Or like the new Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know if you saw it. It really
yeah.
wasn't great.
I got nieces and nephews, so I usually go to the like the Ninja Turtle movies. I've seen all them in theaters because of them. The Jurassic Park movies, you know, it's just right up their alley. But I love the original. Going back to Spielberg again, the original Jurassic Park is like masterpiece. Well, the question we usually end with people is, you know, we have a lot of creatives that listen to the show from all different, you know, musicians, writers, filmmakers, you know, you name comedians, you name it. Do you have any advice for folks out there that might have catch themselves in like a dry spot or bummed out with where they're at? You know what I mean? Like, do you have any advice that you would give to them to kind of put a little pep in their step or kind of keep them going?
I say just, just create. Like we could and post. Like I would, that's the number one advice I would give to people, and I need to follow it more myself. You could with Instagram and TikTok, like post your things, post what you do. So if you're singing, you have the ability to sing and people could see it and people could discover it. Um, I know it was a year ago, I was having like a depression and it was just fear from, lack of work, just other things, and it was really hitting me. And I posted something humorous on Instagram, and right away it got, oh my God, that was funny, and it was made and realized, well, that actually this was dangerous because like, wow, that cured my depression. But it was like if I like comedy and I'm telling a joke and people liked it, it felt good, and that made me want to do more. I should do that more. So whatever it is, just do it and post it. And a lot of people, and I know this with actors, they want to wait till they're ready to start auditioning. There is no ready. You're never ready. And like you were saying, you learn by being on set, by making things, by watching movies. So just I love the Nike quote, you miss 100% of the chances you never take. And I don't be afraid of rejection, just go out and do. Go out and do. And do it with a smile.
Well, Josh, this was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me and thanks for your
Yeah.
patience and scheduling and
Oh, anytime,
oh,
anytime. We'll have you on again sometime in the future if you're down. It'd be cool. Chat
yeah, that'll be great.
some new stuff. Cool, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, is there anywhere you want them to look for you? Do you
Instagram is Mr. Josh Sussman on Instagram, MrJoshSusSman. Same on TikTok. Those are the ones I'm most on. And yeah, and I post about new projects. I'll have a small part in a show that I'm not can't say yet. That'll
Okay.
come out probably in the fall. And I have two upcoming movies. One of them is California Skate that Henry Winkler's in, and Saving Buddy Charles, which I think I have a really fun role in. So I don't know. I know they're figuring out distribution for that one now, but yeah, check them all out. And no, this was really fun.
Josh, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon, dude. This is great. We're gonna get that movie rolling. We're gonna get that flick going,
I
and
can't wait to be on set with you.
we're gonna add
Yeah.
horror conventions. Horror conventions are coming to your future. Yes.
Yes, I RSVP. Yes, let's do it.
Hell yeah, dude. All right.
Awesome.
Have a good rest of the day over there, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Talk soon. Bye bye.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the great Joshua Sussman of a whole bunch of really cool projects. That was a lot of fun sitting down with him and learning about his life. Great dude, got a great personality. Been doing it for quite a bit, 20 something years, a little more than 20 something years in the biz. Just doing it, dude. Super nice guy, gave some great advice. And yeah, dude. I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I hope we can get that project going. That's good stuff. You know, what do you thinking there, Hawk man?
Hey, I had a lot of fun. I mean, it was great. I mean, I of course knew him from Glee. Watching Glee, I enjoyed that series. Also, I mean, checking out all the other different projects he's been a part of. I mean, he was on Superstore. He was in Mr. Mayor, like we talked about, Abbott Elementary. Yeah, he was in Fish Hooks, a great cartoon. He was also in R.I.P.D., which one of our friends, Frankie Magamo, was also in. So there was a little tie there. And going with Superstore, one of my friends, Dennis Hurley, was in two episodes there. So there's a lot of connections right here that we can be proud of.
The great Drake and Josh show playing Clayton,
Yeah.
which I was a little too old to be watching Drake and Josh at that time, but I actually dug it. I got down with it. You know what I mean? Josh Peck, Drake Bell. I know that Drake's had some stuff recently, kind of dark, so I didn't really want to get too deep into that and put him on the spot, make him feel like he had to answer questions just going into it. But Josh Peck has been he's a dude that I see pop up in other ever since seeing them on Drake and Josh, seeing him pop up in other films, it's kind of cool to see him. I always go, Josh, you know what I mean? Good times. I think he even caught the eye. I think he's working with Scorsese, I think, or the Safdie brothers or something like that. But he's not an important Josh. The important Josh is our Josh. You know what I mean? And it was a lot of fun having Josh on the show. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I knew some of his work, but it was really cool to sit down and really kind of chop it up. Like I said, these are kind of when the interviews leave interview and become a discussion, that's kind of my favorite of all the episodes. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, anyways.
Well, I mean, it's what's great about talking with him is he, like ourselves, are fans. Okay,
Yes.
we're all fans about movies, about acting, about stories, and again, like you said, one of the things that's always kind of weird and kind of sad is you got some of these directors that are, making these big budget movies, and then you listen to them, and they're like, they don't have any favorite movies, they don't have any real inspiration. It's kind of like, yeah, I make money off of it, and this is what I hear does well, and this will, be great for this demographic. And then you're kind of like, but where's the heart in it? Where's the, adventurous spirit, trying to make something more, change something, or add something interesting? So unfortunately, I think that kind of spirit has been lost in Hollywood, at least with a lot of films I've seen coming out of there.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I think forever, me and Hawkman always talk. There's two filmmakers that I can remember from Massachusetts. I won't mention them by name to throw shade on them. But one of them, when I went to their house, well, I went both to their houses. One of them had no movies, and the only movies he ever talked about liking was the Indiana Jones movies and Star Wars, which kudos, you know what I mean? Good movies, but
Yeah,
feel like your reach got to be a little bit more than that. And then the secondary one was somebody who only had 10 movies. I seen a pile of 10 movies, and I was like, and the worst part is they were just like random movies. It wasn't like the Stanley Kubrick collection, or it was just like movies of after 2000 that was just like, what's going on here? Oh,
yeah.
I don't
I,
even know if they make films anymore, but
well, I mean, the thing is, it's like being a director, being an actor, being an artist is like being a chef. Okay, if you want to be a great chef, you got to eat, not just hamburgers and pizza. Okay, because you're not going to be a great chef if that's the only thing in your palate. You got to, try some sushi, or try some, you know,
ew.
um, oh, tacos, try different flavors, different styles, different
Yeah.
curry. I mean, the fact,
Curry.
yeah, curry.
Don't
I mean,
get curried away over there.
but I mean that's the same thing. I think Matt and I are on the same wavelength, where if you go into one's kitchen and all they have is just Parmesan cheese, and that's it, and they're like, I want to be a great chef. It's like, well, you gotta have a bit more added to your repertoire other than one ingredient.
And that shout out to the chef, the executive chef, Christopher Guillotard out there, our own chef. There's two chefs in this world that mean anything. I guess maybe three. Chef Guillotard, Frankie and Magamo chef, Joe Jaffo chef. Those are the three king chefs in the world. You know what I mean? That's the only three chefs, the only chefs anybody really needs. And rest in peace, Joe Jaffo. Much love to you. Um, and Frankie's supposed to be on the show again soon to talk about the best mafioso movies. Ooh, excuse me for burping. But I think it's time to wrap it on up, I heard.
Yeah,
All right. I'm with it, bruh. All right, cool beans. Well, hey, you got the info. Go follow and subscribe to Josh's stuff and pay him respect. And while you're doing that, go follow the Boombastic stuff. You know what I mean? You got me and the Alex on the social meds, BoomBastiCAST social meds, that Patreon. We love you. We love you when you're listening for free and watching for free. But when you're paying, you make us weak in the knees, get the knees shaking. You know what I mean? It's hard to stand up because we're so in love. We got to lay down and take in the love. You know what I mean? On that Boombastic streaming Patreon, you get all the podcasts, you get the films. It's a beautiful thing. And you can't talk about Patreon pages without mentioning the Alex Hawk. Is it Alex or Alexander Hawk?
Alexander Hawk. Yeah, right
Why do
now,
I why do I always think it's Alex Hawk?
well, everyone calls me Alex,
I
but the
I
full
know your
name is
professional name.
Alexander.
I know your professional name. For some reason, yeah.
Professional name.
Yeah, it's weird. Do you have like your personal Patreon page as Alex Hauck?
No, I only have one Patreon page. It's
Huh.
Alexander Hawk. Right now, I'm doing the whole thing where I'm doing reviews on all films that came out in 2024. At the end, I'm going to pick what I think is the best film that came out. It's actually a cool deep dive because as we were talking on this podcast and other podcasts, um, it's hard with a lot of films, especially nowadays, because in Hollywood they keep on cranking out the same old sequels, the same old reimaginings, you
Right.
know, superhero movies. But by doing this, it's forced me to find some more independent stuff, some stuff that I actually, I saw a trailer once and I'm like, doesn't look that good, but I'll watch the movie and it's like, so much better than the trailer. Sometimes the trailer can really, destroy a chance of a movie
Yeah.
because if you don't understand what the movie is pushing and you try, put out to entice people for something it's not, and then people get to see it, they're going to hate it because they're like, I'm expecting a comedy and you're giving me a satire. Satire is comedy, but it's a type of comedy you got to go in with that kind of like, expectation.
And that's free. You give that stuff out for free, right?
Yeah,
Reviews? The
it's
reviews?
free. It's free at the very beginning, but after a few months, I take the ones I've already done and put behind only a $5 paywall. I mean, it's $5. It's a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee.
It's a cup of coffee. Give
It's
the
a
five,
cup of coffee.
get a cup of hockey and just give him the $5, dude. You know what I mean? The Boombastic
It's
streaming,
coffee for the soul. That's what I'm saying.
that's
I'm giving you
true.
coffee for the soul.
And Hawkman's got some big stuff coming up that he can't even tell me about. So
I'm sorry. My hands are tied. My hands are tied. I can't even tell Matt about.
if you join the Patreon when he's able to speak on it legally, he might even hit it up there before he hits up Matty Fish. And if he does that, I'll accept that because the Patreon supporters, uh, that pay a little mucho gracias mune, they deserve to hear anything before me. Boombastic Streaming started giving away some freebies and homage and respect to this man over here who showed us the way. It's nothing exclusive. The exclusive stuff is still behind the paywall because you know how it goes. You got to eat. I can't just be drinking water and eating grapes.
Hey, listen, I used
Breakfast,
to
lunch,
have
and
like
dinner.
a full thing of fingers. I got hungry. I had to eat two of
Yeah, you ever have to eat one of your socks just to
them.
survive in the world? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Hit that Patreon, show some support. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna have like a limp if I got sock on one foot, dude. Gotta eat one of my socks just to survive in this world. My goodness. But yeah, this was a great episode. Josh was a good dude, and we'll have him back on in the future when he's got more stuff to promote. I know he's got some new stuff that he couldn't even talk about. This is the NDA episode for crying out loud, dude. Nobody can chat. I might as well say I got tapped to direct a $5 million independent film, but I signed an NDA and I cannot talk about what that is. 3 million of it's my paycheck, and then for the 2 mil, we're gonna make it a beautiful thing. You know what I
I
mean?
love it. I love it.
So with that being said, we hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Reach out to us, reach out to your ear and your soul, and find more episodes of the cast. And mucho gracias for listening always. Go check out Josh and all his stuff, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode of the Boombastic Cast.
Peace.
Peace.